So I've made about 10 videos at this point, all using like math to explain, shit that's going on in Counter-Strike right now. And if there's one takeaway I hope you get from my videos, it's not that, you know how to do fucking float value calculations in a fucking video game. It's shit, I should have paid attention in math class, right? You got calculators, you got ChatGPT, yeah, cool. But you actually need to know how to apply this shit, because I found out a free money glitch. I'm gonna share it with you guys, because I'm a nice guy. Learn how to apply math, and you find this shit first, and then you stand to gain a ton of money. Now, what concept are we gonna apply today? It is the concept of expected value. We can also write it as E of X. Okay, so what is expected value? The number itself is how much we expect to gain, per trial. When we play a blackjack hand, our expected value would be, how much money we win on average over time. Which brings us to our next point. Expected value is good to know the more times you play a game. The expected value doesn't help you if you play blackjack once. You either win or you lose. So your expected value doesn't really mean shit. But let's say you played 100 blackjack hands in a night. Then our expected value on those 100 trials, it's gonna start to mimic expected value as the number of times we play keep going. And let's say you play $5 hands of blackjack, and your expected value is lower than that, we know whether to play or not, right? If our expected value is greater than the cost, that's when we should play. Quick example. Me and you are hanging out, and I give you a dice. All right, you gotta pay me $5 to play. You roll a 6, I'll give you 25 bucks. Anything else? 0. Should you play? We have our outcomes here, right? This is a normal dice, and we win on 6, but everything else we lose on. So the probability that we lose is more in our favor, right? It's 5/6, whereas winning is 1/6. Important to note that, our probabilities at the end of the day should always add up to 1. Now there's 2 ways to calculate it. We can include the cost, or we don't have to necessarily. I'm just not going to include it. It's a little bit extra steps, but I think it's more intuitive. So we have a 1/6 chance that we win, right? 1 out of 6 outcomes on the dice gives us 25 bucks, and that's what we multiply it by. And then we add to that the probability that we lose. Just gotta make sure all the probabilities are added to 1, and then $0, that's how much we win if we roll anything else. So now we just add up these probabilities, and we get 25 over 6, 4.16. So if we play one game, right, you either win or you lose. But if we played this game 100 times, on average, right, if we played 100 times, the average would look pretty much near 416 bucks. Right, maybe +5, maybe -5, but in this range. But we paid $5 per each time we played. It's 500 bucks. So would you pay 500 bucks to lose 84 bucks? Nope. So we don't play this game. This is a scam. Right, but this doesn't just apply to gambling. We can use it in gambling, but it also applies to just many more the facets of life. CS is one of them. Now you may be saying, CS is gambling. True, but CS is like half gambling, half market. Why am I saying this? Because these motherfuckers down here determine the prices these motherfuckers have to pay to play. Right, it's kind of intuitive, right? If you're opening this case and you're getting mad shit worth $35, then, the capsules just go up. You don't need to know expected value, but it's good to know. Why? Because there's 7 billion fucking capsules on the Steam market, so it doesn't happen automatically. We want the cost to be more than the expected value if we're smart people selling, or else we just open them. But it does take a little bit of time, a couple days, for that to happen sometimes. What's our goal? Find capsules or cases such that the expected value is more than the cost. Now, do we go cases or do we go capsules? Where should we look? Well, for one, cases are more expensive, right? They're usually like $1 plus $2.50 for a key, and pretty much all of our probability, like all of our value, comes from a knife. So when we do all the math, pretty much we're banking on getting a knife to get our return on investment. And as I said, expected value only works as we scale up the number of times we do something. So it's just kind of unsustainable for someone to do a $3.50 case times 500 times before they expect to see, actually start to manifest itself in the value they're making. So let's look at capsules. Specifically, motherfucking Austin 2025 capsule. And even more specifically, the contender one. As you probably know, there's 3 capsules. You got the legends, you got the challenges, and you got the contenders. Right, legends kind of out of the question. There's 8 teams in it. and these are the most popular teams. So motherfuckers buy this shit like crazy, which means the supply of stickers are really high. So the prices of all of the rarities, blue through red, are all super low. Challengers is more or less the same thing. Again, 8 teams, pretty popular teams, but more like 4 or 5 of them. The other 3 will be like lesser known teams. So it actually might be a worse, because you have 3 teams in there that can just completely fuck up your chance of getting a good sticker that's worth something. Now contenders, these are 16 teams, which is the first major in which I think there was 16. Sale ended early. The supply of these capsules are fucking super low. And for there to be an equal amount of hollows and papers and foils of these ones, we would need to open twice as many, but we just don't have the fucking supply to do so, which means all of these hollows in this capsule are super expensive. Thirdly, and this goes for all stickers, here are our odds. Now you're saying to yourself, these are the same thing as the case odds. Correct. But what are the most valuable things in our sticker capsules? Bank. Now pinks being 3.2% just raises our chance to make profit through the roof. Combine this with the fact that there's 16 teams, so there's a less supply of each pink. Talking serious money to gain. Let's do some expected value to figure this out. Now it must be noted there's 16 teams, but there's also that one logo sticker. Now the price of this logo sticker is so much lower than the other ones in the case. Hard for me to justify leaving it in there because again it's a 1 out of 17 for whatever sticker you may get. But we're gonna have to leave it in there for the math of it, but I'm also going to do a case in which it's left out. Now let's get our average prices. Okay, so our blues are on average 5 cents, which is huge because most of the blues are usually 3 cents, but again, like I said, there's no supply of these stickers because there's 16 teams and the sale got cut early. Purple, 31 cents. Pinks are around 19 and our reds are around 9. Now those are our prices right there. Keep in mind, the whole fucking market went haywire less than a week ago, so we haven't even recovered. Last week, 2 weeks ago, this was like 25 bucks maybe, and this was like 12. But let's use today's prices because the capsule also went down, so it should be in proportion pretty much. So we set it up like how I gave you on the example, right? We have a 0.5 payout on an 80% chance. What's going on? Dude, what the fuck? Alright, before we were really interrupted by System 32, 80%, 31 cents, we have a 16% chance, 1/6. I don't want to go back to this page, it scares me. We have 19 bucks on a 1 in 32 chance, 9 bucks and a 1 in 156 chance. Let's just plug this shit into a calculator. And that leads us with around 81 cents, give or take. So, like I said, once we get to a decent amount of opened capsules, we're gonna see around 81 cent per case return. Now what's the price of these capsules? Boom. Keep in mind, this is without the logo. With the logo, it's like 65 cents. So our price is 74 cents per capsule. And if we exclude the Blast TV logo, we're making 81 cents per capsule on average. The reason I'm taking it out, and I can take it out, is because expected value, this number is if we open an infinite amount of capsules. But we're not. We may open like 200 or 300, but we're not opening fucking 7,000 billion. So there's a good stretch there, right, where you open up, 15 pinks over time, and none of them are the logo. So you're saved from this average being lowered down to like 15, right? So if you hold capsules right now, if you have them in your inventory, why the hell would you sell them? Open them, you stand to gain more. So obviously, economics, that's got to change. This over time is going to move up to 0.81. So what can we do in the time period in which this catches up to this? Well, I bought them more than 7 days ago, so my price data right there is going to stay accurate because I'm going to open it and I can immediately sell it. I'm going to open up 20 fucking cases. 20 cases, open them up. Now we can expect to make 81 cents per, so that's like 16 bucks. Then we take that 16 bucks, we sell the stickers, and then we go to the market, and then we use that 16 bucks to buy it at 74 cents per case, which gives us 21 cases back and around 40 cents left over. So look at that. Sometimes these 20 cases value might only give us, 12 bucks. Sometimes it may give us 30 bucks. We don't know until we open them. But that's why I said, don't just do 20 cases, right? You're going to need some capital. Maybe open 100 at a time. If you have the money to open 100 or you have 100 from the sale, that's when you can employ this method. But it is quite literally guaranteed money as you increase your sample size or your trial size, whatever. You see why you should have paid attention in math class? I did this shit for like 4 weeks. I made like 800 bucks in like probably like 6 hours of time, which is pretty good rate. But of course I'm gonna share it with my boys on this YouTube channel, so you stand to gain. What's the fun of me making money if none of my boys are around me, right? So boom, a case in CS right now that is pure profit. Cheers.